Hello. I know some of you have questions about FARMette, so I'm going to try and answer those questions now. I'm getting a lot of questions about it, and that's okay because a lot of people out there are not aware of the magic that is Folk Alliance International and Folk Alliance Region Midwest and FARMette, and I'm here to tell you about the magic. So, what is it? First, let's start with HooMac. HooMac is Hoosier Original Music Association, basically. And it is a nonprofit that I started and that me and some fantastic people run. We're all volunteers. We don't get any pay for this. And our whole purpose is to lift and promote the original music scene in the state of Indiana, across the state, from South Bend to Metamora, from Richmond to Greencastle, from Indy to Bloomington, right? All over the state. That's what our whole mission is. And now Madison has just hopped on board. So I'm really excited about that. What is it? What's going on? So we twice a month, our organization specifically host songwriter nights in Bloomington uh, at Sleepers, and those are paid through grants. So those are paid spots for songwriters. In addition, we have songwriter night partner showcases across the state that we partner with and promote. And we're going to be working with them to get them to the point where they too can also pay their songwriters for their showcases, for their showcase spots. That is down the road, but we are working on that. What do we do with FARMette? Great question. So I tell people FARMette is like the room, Folk Alliance Region Midwest is like the floor, and Folk Alliance International is like the building. So we are a room on a floor in a big building, and that building is large. And Folk Alliance International happens once a year. It's based out of Kansas City. This year, 2025, it was in Montreal, and we hosted a private showcase room there. So HooMac, in partnership with Folk Alliance Region Midwest, hosted a private showcase room in Montreal. Why is that a big deal? Because 7 Hoosier artists got to showcase in Montreal for international talent buyers, other artists, industry partners. What a great event. Um, Now, it will be in New Orleans in 2026, and we will hopefully be granted a showcase room there, and we'll do the same thing again. Folk Alliance Region Midwest, we partner with them. We have a private showcase room there. Their conference is in October. This year it's in Chicago. Next year it will be in Minneapolis. Why is that a big deal? Because then we can take Hoosier artists to showcase regionally, right? And what is FARMette? FARMette is exactly those things, but a 1 day version. And every other year, it's in Brown County in Nashville. When it's not there, it's in a partner city around the state. So in 2026, it will be in South Bend. In 2028, it will be in Richmond. And we don't have a spot yet for 2030. So, why does that turn out to be an important thing? If you're in the music industry in the state of Indiana, you're going to want to be at FARMette. It is Indiana's only professionally affiliated music industry event. And what will happen this year in 2025 in Brown County in Nashville on June 21st is there will be a morning industry partner only event happening at Brown County Playhouse. There will be panels, there will be keynote speaker, there will be official showcase artists, and there will be networking that happens inside of that space, that physical space. After that, from like 3:15 on, in 6 or 7 different spots around the Brown County Playhouse in the city of Nashville, private showcase hosts will be hosting their own private showcase space. So, Cosmic Songwriters, Indie Folk Series, Brown County Radio Hour, Indiana's Music City Madison, Greencastle, the Well up by South Bend. They're going to have their own Metamora, right? They're going to have their own private showcase space. And if you're an artist, you can apply to be in their showcase space. So, why should you do that? If you're from Madison, why should you showcase in a Madison room? Because there are going to be people from across the state, house concert hosts, talent buyers, venues, festivals, radio people, they're going to be there, fairs, festivals, they're going to be there and they're going to be walking around and they're going to be listening to the talent and talking to other venue hosts and things like that and asking them about what's going on. if you have a series of any kind, if you are a host of any live music event of any kind, you're going to want to be there, one, to scope out the talent, but two, to talk to other spaces and to build partnerships. Partnerships are key to getting great talent at a budget. So let's say if you're in Metamora and you have your eye on the prize, you want somebody like Dom Flemons, right? You want someone that you want them to come in and you haven't been able to afford them on your budget before. But you're talking to the indie folk series and you're talking to Greencastle and you guys have devised a plan. You're like, hey, listen, let's package these events across the state and approach these bigger artists and say, hey, I know your budget is this, but we have this 3 night or 4 night run across the state and we'd love to pitch this to you so that we can get your artist and our people who come to our events are going to be wowed by the talent that we're going to get. And when we get them, we're going to have one of our local artists open for them. So we're connecting our local artists to maybe a national or international artist that's going to come through. The possibilities are really endless. This is for you, Indiana. Now, if you're an artist outside of Indiana who wants to play here, yes, apply to be an official showcase artist because we're going to want to find out who you are. If you're interested in playing our state, come on down. Let's make this happen. So, why should you become part of HooMac? Why should you spend the $10 to become a member? Because you get this kind of information delivered to you monthly, sometimes more than once a month in our newsletter and in our emails. You get invited to go on these private events and to become part of what we're doing here. For example, in Montreal, there was a window of time where we needed someone to cover the private showcase room in Montreal, and Indie Folk Series sent someone. So Indie Folk Series got to tell people who came into the private showcase space all about the Indie Folk Series in Montreal. So now people up there know. Also, our official sponsors for FARMette for 2024 and our corporate sponsors, we took promotional material up in that space and we handed it out to everybody who came in the room and people who we came across in the conference. That was 2,400 people, a little bit more than that, who attended that conference in Montreal. And it's usually bigger than that, but there was a 100-year snow that happened in Montreal this year, right on the conference weekend. So attendance was a little lower. But Chicago, Folk Alliance Region Midwest, again, partner with us, come up with us. So there's so many, many possibilities for us, but we need to network and we need to be in the same room just for a little bit once a year so that we're all seeing each other and talking to each other and supporting each other. The rising tide lifts all boats. Indiana has a strong bench when it comes to music events, when it comes to music spaces, and when it comes to locally grown talent. All we have to do is tell people it's out there. And this is something we're all invested in, and I know that together we can make this happen. So I hope to see you at FARMette. I hope to see you as a member of HooMac, and go Hoosiers. Let's make this happen.